And welcome back to the Legal News at the top of the hour. I'm Shane, and this is Noah. Today, we'll be talking about the importance of the critical period and how it relates to first language acquisition. In a recent news story, a man was accused of robbing an elderly woman in a parking lot. The woman reported him as sounding like a middle-aged, fluent English speaker and was unable to see his face. However, the man that was arrested for this crime was a 24-year-old Hispanic who had only recently moved to the United States, learning English just for the move. This discrepancy will turn the head of linguists because of the relevance of the critical period. The critical period refers to a specific window in time in early human development when our brains are more receptive to acquiring languages. However, after puberty starts, it's significantly harder to learn languages and even harder to speak them without the inclusion of an L1 accent. Absolutely true. An L1 accent refers to the pronunciation of the second language being influenced by the speaker's first language. This is something that occurs naturally because the speaker would unconsciously transfer pronunciation patterns, sounds, or intonation from their native language. The defendant was found innocent in this case because his second language was developed outside of the critical period, meaning that they would not be able to lose their L1 accent when speaking in L2. That's our time for today. This has been Legal News at Top of the Hour. And welcome back to Legal News at the top of the hour. I'm Shane, and this is Noah. Today, we're talking about a dastardly case taking place in the courts. A video has surfaced of a poor defendant not knowing his rights to an interpreter. Here is the video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sir, do you know why you're here today? Sir, you do know you have a right to an interpreter for your client. Did they not teach you anything in law school?
What a horrible sight. Truly terrible. According to our research, a sizable portion of lawyers are not taught about the right to an interpreter for their client. Interpreters are key in the courtroom because they help to facilitate effective conversation between the judge and litigants. Absolutely correct there. Took the words right out of my mouth. That's why they pay me the big bucks, Shane. Within the interpreting sect, there are three types of interpreting: sight translation, consecutive, and simultaneous. Very true, Shane. Sight interpreting is when interpreting involves reading in one language and interpreting into another in real time. Consecutive is when spoken words are translated after the litigant is done talking. Finally, simultaneous is when the interpreter interprets the litigant's words as they say them. These methods of interpreting are key to understanding the litigant and are utilized in different ways in the courtroom. That's our time for today. This has been Legal News at the top of the hour. And welcome back to the Legal News at the top of the hour. I'm Shane, and this is Noah. Today, we'll be talking about the use of discourse markers and their importance in law. A discourse marker is a linguistic tool used to guide the flow and structure of legal communication. Can you think of any discourse markers off the top of your head? Well, I could probably think of a few. Ah, yes. Well is a swell example of a discourse marker. It is very commonly used in legal settings and can have shifting connotations based on the tone of the speaker and the context of the conversation. Very interesting. How else can well be used? There's many ways well can be used. Here's a few: agree, challenge, request, clarify, delay, disagree, refuse. All right, dude, here we go. Sorry. Discourse markers, like well, are highly valuable in legal speak. They are key for signaling a relationship between ideas and organizing thoughts in both spoken and written legal contexts. Without these discourse markers, legal speak would be even more complicated to connect with and understand. We hope this section on discourse markers was informative. That's our time for today, and this has been Legal News at Top of the Hour. I'm getting word from our producers. We have a very important meeting after this. You will never see us on TV again. That's our time. Have a good night.